My name is Jennifer Gray Thompson, and I am the CEO of After the Fire. Welcome to the podcast, How to Disaster: Recover, Rebuild, and Reimagine. In this podcast, we bring you the very best practices, best hearts, and great ideas from other disaster-affected communities. Thank you for joining us. So here we are at the end of season 3, and I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you before we move into the next round of the How to Disaster podcast. This has been a remarkable experience, and I hope that you've enjoyed our truly amazing guests. I always say I love doing this podcast because it gives me an opportunity to introduce you to all of these incredible people that I meet along the way. I also want to make sure that I'm very thankful to the people who work on this podcast. Anything worth doing is usually a collaborative effort, and this is the same that is true for the How to Disaster podcast. First and foremost, I want to thank Kyle Burnett, our executive producer for the podcast, and he's also a program associate at After the Fire. I want to thank Melissa Stone, who is our business operations manager, and she works with Kyle on this podcast, and then Lang and her team. This is definitely a group effort, and learning to do a podcast was not our first impulse in this work, but it's turned out to be incredibly gratifying. I love it so much when I walk into a newly or mid-disaster community and I find out that they have been accessing this podcast and they are using it in the way that it was intended, which is, why begin at the beginning? Let's all go through this together, and why not listen to people who have all of these amazing different types of perspectives and experiences. And I've been really pleased this season to bring to you experts like Zach Rosenberg, the co-founder of SBP, St. Bernard's Project, based out of New Orleans. Trey Bearden, who is amazing, who's the CPO for Toolbank USA. We've brought you an artist, two really amazing artists, actually. One, Brian Fees, who wrote a fire story after losing his own home in the Tubbs fire. We've brought you Dr. Rena Folletti. We've brought you such a whole host of people that I hope that you have learned a lot. I know that I have. Like, we had Amy Simpkins on from PowerFlow. I don't know anything about energy really or microgrids, and I really depend upon people with very specific knowledge to sort of walk me through all of the areas that, are really critical in how we're going to address climate change and these climate-based disasters. I know that I'm leaving a lot of people out that we've interviewed, and I just want to really be very clear that I appreciate each and every person who has taken the time out of their jobs and out of their lives to spend, an hour and a half with us and to share their lessons with you. We also want to hear from you. And if you can think of something that you wish that we had covered that we haven't covered, we can totally put that into season 4. I'm really pleased that in season 4, we're bringing back Josh Farrell, who is our citizen prepper, and we're going to do a shorter episode to really talk about how to get ready for wildfire season. A lot of lessons there that are actually good for any kind of disaster. Speaking of other disasters, thank you so much to Cherry Jokum and Michelle Brace, who really come to us from a wind and rain perspective out of Florida. But Florida is one of the most practiced states in the country on how to do disasters. And Dr. Crystal Lopez, there's been so many people that I've been incredibly proud to bring you, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you in season 4. And once again, thank you for being a part of the How to Disaster podcast. I also wanted to let you know that we're going to take a break for several weeks so that we can actually attend to the wildfire season as it unfolds here in the American West. We look forward to season 4 of the How to Disaster podcast. We have some great guests coming up for you. In the meantime, you can certainly find older episodes and more of our content and services at www.afterthefireusa.org. You can find us on Twitter and LinkedIn, on all social media outlets. If you have anything that you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to reach out at info@afterthefireusa.org. In the meantime, be safe and be prepared and be ready. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on the podcast, How to Disaster. For more information, please visit our website at afterthefireusa.org. And if you liked this video, please hit subscribe.